HorrorCast.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Don't worry. It's just a joke.
Hey, this is Dena.
This is Tony.
Welcome to the very first episode of the HorrorCast for June 2011, your podcast for all things horror-related.
Woohoo!
This episode is going to be pretty movie-centric, but the next one could be mostly survival horror games. You just never know. There is a lot to talk about, but we're going to start with some introductions for anyone who doesn't know who we are, what we do, and what sort of horror things we like. It'll kind of give you an idea of what to expect from us. Since I've been doing most of the talking so far, Tony, you can start.
Okay. Well, a lot of people don't know who I am, so I'll just put everything out. My name is Tony. As of this recording, I am 30 years old. My weight is none of your damn business. I am in South Carolina. My experiences with horror movies goes all the way back to watching Night of the Living Dead with my father at 10 years old. And we actually watched Vampire Hunter D when I was like 13 or 14.
Nice.
That was kind of cool. But let's see, as far as like my favorite horror movies, I got to go with like Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th series. I mean, I'll be honest, during Freddy vs. Jason, I was rooting for Jason the entire time. And in my opinion, Jason won because he at least had his whole body at the end. I'm starting to get into the Hellraiser series. I've watched up to the fourth one, and I'm having a hard time trying to come across the other ones simply because of the fact of the chronology in that they don't label them.
Oh yeah, they stopped numbering them after like I think 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then it's like Hellraiser, Hell on Earth, and it's just like, okay, which one is this? And it's like there was like 2 of them that were labeled as the last one, but whatever. The movie that I had just recently watched that really it's definitely an older movie, but genuinely creeped me out was Sleepaway Camp.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh my god, the ending is twisted. But yeah, that's about it for me. If anybody has any questions they want to ask me or whatever, feel free. Well, not right now.
Well, I heard you did an interesting interview lately. Do you want to do a quick little plug for that?
I did! I did indeed! Definitely on one of those things that the stars and planets aligned and everything. Through some reason, I got to interview Tommy Wiseau from such movies as The Room and that's it.
Yeah, that's about it.
And in my opinion, the wonderfully horrible 12-minute short, The House That Drips Blood on Alex. I loved it simply because Tommy Wiseau was in it. I mean, I'm not blinded by the fact that Tommy Wiseau was in it. I know that it's a very flawed production, but still,
Obviously.
Yes. But anybody that wants to check it out, I've got me and Ven have actually gotten a lot of good feedback from it, saying it's a really good interview. Ven had put up the whole thing about like, oh, we're going to be interviewing Tommy on like next week, and Punky was just like, ooh, I heard that he's like a hard person to interview. He was a delight. He was just really genuinely cool. But if you want to go check it out,
I'll put a link below.
Yeah, if you want to check it out, the site randomoddsonline.com, plug. I just go to the interviews And as of right now, it's the first one there. So, okay, so I'm done rambling right now. So, Dena, take it away, hon.
My turn. This is Dena and Tony. There are a lot of videos I work on, but my main ones are the Game Den and the Film Den, where I do very long-winded retrospectives of games and movies I like. Probably best known for my Silent Hill retrospectives that I do every October. I like a lot of different kinds of games and movies, but horror movies just kind of keep dragging me back, so my shows tend to focus on horror stuff more than anything else. I was kind of like you in that, I guess your dad got you into horror movies. My mom kind of got me into horror movies. It was like a really gradual thing, but I ended up like watching horror movies with my mom, so that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
I like survival horror games, at least as a concept. I really need to play more of them, aside from playing all of the Silent Hill games that have come out here so far. I've played maybe half of the Resident Evil games, Parasite Eve, a little of the sequel. I played partly into Deadly Premonition and Dead Space. And I basically just messed with Alan Wake a little. I need to play that one more. So.
You know they're coming out with they've come out with a third Parasite Eve game. I
did not know that.
Yeah, it's not like from what I've researched on it, it's not like an official sequel, but more of like a side story. Called like Birthday or something like that for the PSP, which means that in about a month later it'll be on other systems. So
is this out in America or?
So far as I know, it's only out in Japan.
Okay, that's
right
probably
now,
why.
But I think right now they're in the middle of trying to do the localization of it right now.
Okay, I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that one. But anyway, I also played Rule of Rose a little. I couldn't really get into that one. Yeah, I can't really say I'm an expert on survival horror, but I love it as a concept at least. As far as movies are concerned, I want to say I like slasher films, but not really as much as I used to. I think the monotony finally kind of caught up with me. But I still like the ones that are creative with it, like Nightmare on Elm Street and Child's Play, and I love the original Halloween. Other than that, I generally just stick to horror movies that either don't take themselves too seriously or mix other genres in there a little. I'm also a big Stephen King fan. I think you mentioned the last movie you saw. I think from the last horror movie I saw in the theater was Drag Me to Hell, which I freaking loved. So
awesome. I honestly can't remember the last one I saw in theaters because, especially nowadays, it's like horror movies in theaters are kind of an oxymoron. Well, no, I take that back. I don't know if you'd really consider it a horror movie, but the last horror movie that I guess would fit into the horror movie category would be Saw 3D. But I honestly don't consider movies like that to be like genuine horror movies. They're just more of like shock movies.
That's interesting. I would think it's kind of a subgenre of horror.
Yeah, I consider things like Saw to be more of like a thriller in terms because they're more of like a, well, they attempt to be more of a subconscious thing, especially like having the twist at the end, and it's just like, holy shit. You know? I know the first one was the first one where I was genuinely like, I had the only time I ever had a holy shit moment while watching a movie.
Don't spoil it for me. Believe it or not, I have not watched any of the Saw movies yet. I'm kind of not too interested because from what I hear, it goes a little too much into quote-unquote torture porn territory for my taste, but I did happen to catch like maybe a half an hour of the first movie on TV, and it really like sucked me in, so I think I'm gonna at least watch the first one. It looks like it's really good.
Yeah, well actually, speaking of Saw, I'm actually in the process right now of doing you know how you did a Silent Hill retrospective?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be doing a Saw retrospective.
Oh yeah, I think you told me about that once.
Complete with my own jigsaw trap. So
Okay.
I have a lot of free time on my hands to come up with this stuff. So I'm going through all 7 movies and both games. So that's gonna be like a 9-part thing. So it should be interesting. I'm gonna try to shoot that in the next 2 to 3 months.
Cool.
And like over the next 2 or 3 months and see what I can come up with.
We're a little late on this one. We were planning on recording this podcast for, what, like a month or 2 ago?
Yeah.
Back when Scream 4 had just come out and stuff just got in the way. It was all on my end. But we were gonna see it when it first came out and give you our opinions as to whether or not we thought you should see. We were gonna be all proactive and stuff, but like probably everyone listening to this saw it before I did. I finally just saw it a couple days before recording this, and it's not even playing in my area anymore.
Oh my god.
I kind of felt that Scream 4 was a big deal in horror circles, and I really wanted to talk about it in our first podcast, so better late than never.
Yeah.
So, Tony, I know you're dying to get this off your chest. What did you think of Scream 4?
Scream 4 was shit. Pure T shit.
Wow.
Scream 4 is like Scream 1 on Down syndrome. It is completely dumbed down, and there's just no nice way to say this. You will lose IQ points having seen this movie.
Don't hold back now. Tell us how you really feel.
Well, the main thing that really got me was that they kept trying to keep that Randy character, Jamie Kennedy's character. They tried to keep it in there with those 2 obnoxious high schoolers that one of them has a helmet cam at all times, which, I'm sorry.
That's pretty silly.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it was kind of clear that they were XBs for Jamie Kennedy's character, and I could have done without them. I'll admit that.
I'm sorry, Jamie Kennedy. I mean, okay, if they were gonna make this one the last one, they should have at the very least held on to the Randy character until this one.
Mm-hmm.
Then kill him off, because if they're not going to be doing them anymore, allegedly, then I mean, because it's not like he can exactly all of a sudden there be another video pop up and whatever, and suddenly he's aged 10 years in the video.
Even having him in the third movie was kind of pushing it in the video.
See, I actually liked that. I thought having him in the third via VHS was actually kind of a brilliant kind of little twist on it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
But it would have been kind of retarded if it's like, oh, we have a DVD now and it's of Randy.
I almost kind of wish they did that. That would have been pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm sorry if they would have done that. I would have just walked out of the theater. I was just like, just wash my hands and be like, done. So
Sydney, just in case you survived the last time and you get attacked again, here's what you need to keep in mind.
Exactly. Yes.
Even though I'm dead and remakes haven't come out yet at the time I'm recording this.
But the other thing is, there's all of the charm and the intelligence of the previous 3 films is not in this one. It's in my opinion, it turned into a complete cliche movie. Even the killer, which I'm not going to spoil. I want to, but I'm not going to. You have no idea. But the person who ends up being the killer, it's totally unoriginal. There's nothing to do with... I mean, honestly, Nev Campbell and the other main characters could have just not been in this, and it would have just been a regular shitty movie. And instead, they made it a shitty Scream movie. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna have to stop myself now because if I'm given time, we will go on for hours.
Well, I basically thought it was okay. I didn't hate it like you did, but I didn't think it was great either. It seems like Scream is just kind of a played out franchise, because it seemed to me that all the right ingredients were there, but it just didn't like wow me or anything. I thought it was entertaining. It was just pretty good. Although you kind of made me realize it did kind of feel like they were more going through the motions.
Just like, oh no, Ghostface, and they just kind of waddle off frame, It's just.
I felt the comedy was pretty solid. I laughed in all the right places.
Comedy-wise, it was fantastic. It was just, well, I've never really been scared by a film, by a quote-unquote horror film. I've never been like jump out of my seat, kind of like, holy shit, that scared the shit out of me. But especially with this one, it was more of like the parts that were supposed to be scary. I found myself laughing. I'm not the smartest knife in the tool shed, but even I know that that's not how you make a movie. And yes, I realize I said that wrong. Okay.
I wasn't gonna. Better not say anything.
It's called irony. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, without giving anything away, I will say I was kind of pissed when they revealed who the killer was, or who the killers were. I won't say which. It kind of felt like they just picked the least likely person with no rhyme or reason other than they figured we wouldn't suspect them. I hate that kind of thing.
It's like, and there's no motive behind it. It's just literally like two bitchy teenagers that are doing it literally for shits and giggles.
Well, that's kind of what. Well, no, I was gonna say that's what the first movie was like, but that wasn't quite true with the first movie. There was revenge involved there. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point. After my initial reaction, it kind of grew on me, but it did still kind of feel contrived.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Scream 4 by itself, is it a good movie? Maybe. If this was,
I'd say it's an alright movie.
Yeah, if this was an independent movie of itself, it would have been okay. But the fact that they tried to squeeze this into the franchise of Scream, to me, kind of dumbs it down. Kind of, because Scream, at least the first one, was a very intelligent movie in the way that they were very self-aware of everything.
Yeah.
I love the first movie. I think it's like a perfect mix of like comedy and horror, because at least to me, I think it's actually legitimately kind of scary at times.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of self-aware, and it's kind of silly, and it kind of sliding scale there.
Yeah, but it was like in Scream 4, it was almost like they were too self-aware. Like I honestly expected somebody to just turn to the camera and say, don't worry, kids, everything's okay." I mean,
I thought they overdid it with the fake outs in the beginning. I thought one fake out was funny, but after the second, I'm like,
the movie within the movie within the movie within the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. Oh, Jesus.
I guess this is a mild spoiler, but it's not a plot spoiler. But basically how it starts off is like, it starts off and you think it's, oh, here comes the Scream movie starting, and all of a sudden the, Stab 4 comes up, or what was it, Stab? I think it was like Stab 6.
Yeah.
And then it started, okay, here's the real movie. Oh, nope, Stab 7. Then finally, I think after that, the real movie started.
They did the ultimate no-no in my book. They talked shit about Saw. You do not do that. I am deathly loyal to the Saw franchise. Am I aware that there are somewhat gaping plot holes? Yes, but I like them. So, like, they had the nerve to insult the Saw franchise, and for that, I will never forgive Wes Craven. Let's go on to a topic that I know Dina is just dying to talk about. The Silent Hill movie sequel.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Now it's no it's not it's common knowledge that Dina, you do not care for the first Silent Hill movie.
No, I do not.
And for the sake of time, we will leave it at that.
Yeah, that works for me. Kind of exhausted it.
Yeah. I, for one, I just liked the fact that they were making it into a movie. I in the beginning, I really didn't care how bad it was going to be. I expected it to be bad because it's a video game based. It's a movie based off of a video game. So I mean, I was automatically going in there with low expectations. But I know you're gonna probably hate me for this, but I kind of liked the idea of having Pyramid Head in there solely as like the bad, solely as like an executioner type of guy, because he was. I mean, I think he's. Venus is gritting her teeth right now. I can hear it. I mean, Pyramid Head was an imposing figure. That goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
But was he overused? Of course. Personally, I'm of the same thought as you, as he should have stayed in Silent Hill 2. But he was a popular character, and fan service. What are you gonna do? Okay, but anyway, on to the Silent Hill sequel. The title is Silent Hill Revelation, and in keeping with the current trends, it is being shot in fucking 3D. Which, as far as I'm concerned, the whole 3D craze is becoming like a bad flare-up of herpes. It's just like every few years it comes up and it gets worse and worse. But anyway, they have actually already finished filming, even though IMDb still has it as filming. They're wrong. But
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they actually finished shooting on May 14th of this year. And well, it better be it better be this year. But let's see. It's supposed to incorporate some of the characters from Silent Hill 3, arguably one of the better Silent Hill games in my opinion.
Yeah.
Next to 2, of course. 2 to this day still scares the shit out of me, but from what I've been researching, they actually have an unknown actor at this time being cast by someone named Harry. So does that mean Harry Mason? But so they have here's the basic main cast. They have Adelaide Clemens as Heather Mason, Kit Harington as Vincent. That should be interesting. And Rose.
As soon as I heard Rose was going to be involved, I started worrying.
And Christopher, Sean Bean's character that served absolutely no fucking purpose in the first one, but whatever. The same actress that played Delilah Gillespie is in this one. I'm not even gonna. Carrie Ann Moss is playing Claudia Wolf. So that should be interesting.
Isn't that Trinity from The Matrix?
It is indeed.
I thought so. I had to remind myself there because I'm not a huge fan of The Matrix, but
yeah. And they have a cast made. They have cast somebody as Leonard Wolf. Malcolm McDowell.
That's an interesting choice.
Dr. Loomis is Dr. Loomis is Leonard Wolf. I mean, well, the bad Dr. Loomis, I should say.
I was about to say, it's not Dr. Loomis to me, but oh well.
Yeah, I know Dr. Loomis, and you, sir, are no Dr. Loomis. But, let's see. Apparently, Roger Avery was going to write the sequel, but apparently he got into some kind of vehicular manslaughter trial or something, or
Yeah.
he got arrested for that. So whoopsie. Um, let's see. The director is Michael J. Bassett. Haven't
Not Christoph Gans.
no.
That gives me a small amount of hope.
Yeah. He replaced Gans as the director and writer. So
Oh.
that should be interesting. And they actually have somebody from the Silent Hill games as the creature designer.
Oh.
Masahiro Ito.
That same name sounds familiar. I've probably seen that
Yeah.
in the credits of the games
Yeah,
before.
he was hired to do the creature design and the look of the Otherworld. Oh wait, shit. No, okay, I'm sorry. No, he was asked to, but he couldn't because of other obligations. Once again, Silent Hill movie, you fucked me over. Anyway, let's see. Filming, of course, took place in Canada. So nothing against Canada, but still, apparently, and they actually built an actual Silent Hill lakeside amusement park. So.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I will say that I did see some pictures from the upcoming movie, and I will say I'm not impressed. It's just the colors were just. I mean, I don't know if these were unedited pictures, if they're gonna do some color correction or whatever. But to me, the outfits they were wearing, and even the atmosphere was just way too bright. And it just did not seem very fitting of a Silent Hill movie that's supposed to be dark and grimace and menacing and everything. But
well, as long as it's foggy.
Yeah.
Because during the foggy areas of the game, things aren't really dark. They're actually, in fact, that to me the fog actually looks kind of bright. So
Yeah.
and I have to wonder if the bright colors in the clothes is so they'll actually show up against the darkness.
That is a possibility.
So just a thought.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll actually use the heather beam.
That beam.
Sorry, it was like, I wonder if they'll use the lightsaber. I mean, laser sword. But anyway, if y'all are not familiar with some of these actors or actresses, the woman that's playing Heather Mason, her debut film was in X-Men Origins Wolverine. And her role was the ever elusive Carnival Girl. So, I'm not holding out a whole lot of hope on that one. I mean, she very well may be a fine actor. I don't know.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah. The guy that plays Vincent, Kit Harington, this is actually his first film, according to IMDb. He has been on a TV series called The Game of Thrones, and that's it. So, maybe the fact that he has not been on a film set before could be in his favor. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I have no issues with them going with no-name actors as long as as long as they're good. In fact, it's kind of better to do that because you don't have to worry about typecasting, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. I will say this, that if this turned, as far as like the 3D goes, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of 3D. I've seen like 3 movies with 3D in it, and I was happy with like 2 of them. But if this is actually shot with 3D cameras, as opposed to 3D post-production conversion, Last Airbender, I will be more optimistic about it, because if they actually shoot it with the intent of it being in 3D, That's one thing. They just add it in there for shits and giggles. You know, it just makes it look so much worse. Last Airbender. Um, well, I do have to ask you: will you be at least open to the fact of to the idea of even watching this one, even though Rose and Christopher are in it?
Well, I'd be willing to give it a shot. There are a few things that worry me a little bit. I've seen the pictures well, I've seen one picture of Vincent, and they have him being the same age as Heather. I'm not sure what kind of role he's going to play. I'm a little worried we're going to do kind of a Vincent in name only kind of thing, which it's, Vincent is just about like one of my favorite characters in like the whole Silent Hill universe. So I'm not going to be too happy if they mess him up.
Yeah, it's no small fact that Vincent is your next future ex-husband. The thing that really bothers me, kind of, possibly the best actor in my opinion, in the first one, the little girl that played Cheryl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, I thought she did fantastic.
Yeah.
In that, and she's not in this one, or she's not listed in this one.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought they would have Alessa show up at some point, if only in like as a a flashback.
Yeah. Holy shit. Okay.
Maybe Dena, that's kind of good though.
Okay. There might be hope for Sean Bean after all, because I'm checking the IMDb page right now.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's playing Harry Mason?
Sean Bean.
Yes.
Well, there we go. See,
he's playing.
I thought that was weird when you mentioned Harry, because I figured that they were just going to take the Sean Bean character and have him be, kind of Harry's ex-B.
Yeah, he's actually listed as both Chris Da Silva and Harry Mason, so that's
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of makes sense if he'd like changed his name or something. If he went, was like going into hiding, like Harry did in the games.
Yeah.
Be changing his name to Harry Mason, but whatever.
Yeah. I still do not get the ending of the first movie, but whatever. That will bother me till the end of my days. But that fucking ending is just it makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway. Okay, let's just move on.
Maybe the sequel will make some kind of sense out of it.
Hopefully.
That about wraps up this first
episode of the HorrorCast.
We sincerely hope you enjoyed this, and look for us again.
Let us know what you think, what you want to hear about in future episodes. We're all ears. At this point, we don't know how frequently we're going to do this podcast, but I think it's safe to say we're going to do more, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Really had to twist your arm there.
Let us know what you think, and we will talk to you later, guys.
Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.